Okay, let's take a look again at some coordinating and subordinating conjunctions. So this is the second part, so second presentation. Again, subordinating conjunctions, they are mentioned in chapter 8a1 in your textbook, and they're listed, all of them, they're listed on page 422 in chapter 10a1. So please refer to these pages and to these chapters and review all of them. Good, let's just list all coordinating conjunctions first. So what we have in German language: und, aber, oder, denn, and sondern. And you remember, guys, in my previous presentation, I showed you this example. Peter geht in den Park und das Wetter ist schön. So as you remember, we have a verb in the second grammatical position in both sentences, and we use und just to join two equal ideas, to equal thought. So subordinating conjunctions are als, before, nachdem, weil, bis, damit, das, ob, obwohl, während und wenn. And here is an example. Ich lese ein Buch, wenn ich Zeit habe. So wenn ich Zeit habe, you remember, is such called dependent clause. Ich lese ein Buch, this is a main clause, and dependent clause distinguished from the main clause by the way we use the verb. So the verb needs to be used at the end of the dependent clause. So when ich Zeit habe, I highlighted the verb habe, it's yellow, and it's used at the end of the sentence. Good, so one question my students always ask me when we compare coordinating and subordinating conjunctions is this one. So in both lists, we have the verb with the same translation, with the same meaning in English. So denn means because, and weil means because. So the question is, when do we use denn, when do we use while, and what is the difference between two of them? So let's take a look at some examples. Peter geht in den Park, denn das Wetter ist schön. So I gave you two sentences, connecting them together. I give the explanation one, why Peter is going to the park, because the weather is nice. I will create the same sentence with the same meaning, but I will change the because. I will say Peter geht in den Park, weil das Wetter schön ist. So if you compare two sentences, you see that in the first sentence, verbs in both sentences are used in the second grammatical position. So after den, we have das Wetter ist schön, and ist is used in the second grammatical position because das is just definite article. It is not taken any positions, the same as the coordinating conjunction den. Wetter is the subject, ist is the verb. In the second sentence, because of while pushes the verb to the end of the sentence, ist. So this is our Peter and this is the weather. So what I'm going to do now, look, I will replace ideas. I will first say because the weather is nice, Peter goes to the park. So how can I do it with the second sentence? I just replace positions. Look, weil das Wetter schön ist, geht Peter in den Park. My dependent clause is used now at the beginning of the sentence, of this compound sentence, and in the second part, which is the main clause, verb is used immediately after the comma. And we have such called reverse word order. So first we use the verb geht, then we use the subject Peter. So when I will try to do it with the first sentence, I will try to use then at the beginning. It is impossible. So then is used always only in the second part. First we give the main idea, Peter geht in den Park, and then we give explanation because of something, because something happened. So please keep in mind you cannot start your compound sentence with then. You can start it only with while. So that is why we use two different conjunctions. One is a coordinating conjunction and another one is subordinating conjunction. So this was the answer on the first question. Yes, so we cannot put in front. Good. The second sentence my students sometimes ask me is, so if you consider the whole list of subordinating conjunctions, there are two words here which in English actually they have the same meaning when. So als means when and when means when. So the question is now, in which situation do we have to use als and when do we use when? I will give you a couple of examples. Der Zug ist abgefahren. You remember the sentence from previous presentation? So the train had left. And then the second sentence says, Ich kam am Bahnsteig an. I arrived at the platform. So you remember we described the situation when in our timeline, when we have past, present, and future tense, both events are one-time events. They happened in the past. They occurred in the past. First, the train left. So the train had departed and then I arrived at the platform. And we created this sentence. Der Zug war schon abgefahren, als ich am Bahnsteig ankam. So as you see, we use als to connect these two ideas together. So we do understand that als is used for one-time events which occurs only once in time in the past. In the past. Let's analyze another example. Als ich Kind war, hatte ich einen Hund. As I was child, I had a dog. So this is a picture with my real dog, and I make this picture when I was like 10 years old. Good. And as you see, we use als at the beginning of the sentence. When do we use when? Ich lese ein Buch, wenn ich Zeit habe. When we analyze this sentence, we do understand that the sentence is written in the present tense. So it's happening right now. When I have time, I read book. So here we indicate a event, one-time event, which is taking place right now, and we can even indicate one event which will take place in the future. So I rewrote the sentence using the future tense. Ich werde ein Buch lesen, wenn ich Zeit haben werde. Okay, let's summarize. We use als for one-time event in the past. We use when for one-time event in the present or one-time event in the future. Good. Now you may ask me this question. What's happening if we will talk about a recurring event in the past, in the present, or in the future? What do we have to use in this case? And my answer will be, in this case, we will use then. Or very often we use immer wenn. For example, immer wenn wir uns sehen, muss ich sofort wieder gehen.